one thing that I've learned during this campaign, so I haven't really said this, but my father is dying right now, right? He has cancer. And he has cancer going all through his body. I've never really told anybody this, but when I was 8 years old, my father, it's my stepfather. My biological father passed away. I didn't know who he was. I mean, I knew who he was, but he never was in my life. So my stepfather married my mother and adopted me at 8 years old. So when he adopted me, I changed my last name to Kelly. My real last name was Dupré Williams. I changed it to Kelly. So I took another man's last name. And this man took care of me for my entire life. Even when him and my mother divorced, he still was with me. He's dying now in the hospital. Well, we have him in healthcare and hospice. But before last week, I drove him around the West Ward so he can see his name that he gave me on all of these posters, all of these poles and on people's lawns. Like, that's his name that he gave me. When I tell you this man's face lit up. So just to see that made me realize that this election is bigger than me. It's about legacy. It's about showing some people love and other people love that they showed you the way that they knew how to love, right? Sometimes people love you, but they only love you the way that they know how to love. But to see my father's face when he saw his name, Kelly, attached to the mayor's name, all around the city of the West Ward, made me know that it was bigger than me.
The Jewel Effect.
We are back with episode 4.
One of my favorite numbers.
Mine too. So I'm really excited. I know this is going to be a really good one. I'm Jalen Jewel, and I'm sitting here with the hip-hop icon. Yeah, that's you. So most of you know him as DoItAll Do. He's 1/3 of the legendary hip-hop group Lords of the Underground.
Right. Shout out to Funky Man and DJ Lord Jazz. Definitely.
That's right. Yeah, so they had hits like Chief Rocka, and Psycho. Yeah.
Funky Child, Here Come the Lords, TikTok.
Yeah, what's the jazz?
Oh, Lord Jazz, Hit Me One Time.
Hit Me One Time. Yeah, I was just listening to that last night on my drive.
To the DJ.
That's a good one. Yeah, and then he's a Newark native. He's a notable actor.
Yeah, man.
Okay, yeah, you are a platinum selling artist.
When you call it back like that, it goes, all right.
Right. You're a brother of Alpha Phi Alpha.
1906.
He's the executive director of his nonprofit organization.
Well, ever since I've been running,
okay,
I removed myself from executive director.
Okay.
Now that position is held by a brother by the name of Ramin Moore. We call him Pop. That's
Shout
my
out to
guy.
Pop.
Yeah, shout out to Pop. He's doing so many amazing things with it.
Awesome.
And when you see a baby just grow, and it's almost like I haven't been here yet, but it seems like when you give your child to someone else, like in a relationship or a husband or a wife, and they, it's like, oh, that's my
Let
baby.
them blossom.
Yeah.
Awesome. Shout out to Pop.
Yeah. Shout
so
out to Pop.
the nonprofit organization is 211 Community Impact.
Yes, and now we have an extension to 211 Community Impact, which just focuses on women's, on the women ideas, and it's called 211 WIN, Women Impact Network. So 211 wins,
211 wins.
Shout out to the beautiful women who are just doing so many great things with 211 WIN, and I don't know if you know of Mayor Baraka. He has the Shani Baraka Center. But now 211 Community Impact has 211 WIN, which focuses on women issues, women's empowerment, everything that deals with our beautiful women. I just believe anything that you have, you can't do it efficiently or in its totality without having a woman involved.
Absolutely. I agree.
Right.
Because I'm a woman. That's awesome. And he is the future councilman of West Ward, Newark, New Jersey. I'd like to introduce to you Dupré Kelly.
What's up? What's up?
Oh, this is so great.
It's a jewel effect. Y'all better, I'm telling you, y'all better hit record something.
That's right. I'm so happy to have you. Well, I'm so happy that you have us here today.
Thank you for coming out.
This
you
is
know?
awesome. This is really exciting to sit down with you and get to talk to you about where you've been and, you know, where you're going. And we're going to get started.
Let's do it, Jewel.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
J. Jewel in the building.
Yeah, so I want to give people who don't know about you, some history. Like, why do they call you DoItAll?
Oh, well, we got to go back a little ways for that.
A little bit.
So, I'm from Newark, New Jersey, from the West Ward specifically, Newark, New Jersey, and I went to Newark Tech High School. And while I was in high school, I've just been so in love with entertainment and music and all of that type of stuff. But I was involved in everything in high school. I played on the basketball team, state champs back to back. I played on the baseball team, was co-captain of the baseball team, but I also was in Futures Business Leaders of America. I was in a computer club. I was doing all of this. So one day I was late for baseball practice, and I was coming out of another meeting, running down the hallway, and one of my guys, part of them Slushky boys in Newark Tech, y'all know what I'm talking about, and my man K Reed, excuse me, he's my guy. So I ran past him without giving him a pound, and he was like, yo, what's up? I don't get no pound no more. And I was like, yo, I'm late for baseball practice. He's like, but then you just come from... He's like, man, my name is Dupré. My real name is Dupré, and everybody always call me Du for short. So I ran past him, and he was like, there go Du. Boy, do it all Du. He do everything in this school. Do it all Du. The next day, I'm rap battling somebody by the lunchroom in the hallway, tearing the frame out of him, I should add. And my man with the big hands, Ali, is beating on the wall. And here comes K. Reed down the steps like, ooh, get him, do it all, do. Do it all, do. And, of course, anything that's unfamiliar to us, we initially push it away. We shun it, And I was like, man, stop calling me do it all. Stop calling me do it all. Next thing you know, the entire school started calling me do it all. And I just kept it, But be careful of the moniker you choose, because name denotes ownership.
Yeah.
So you got to live up to whatever that is you're calling yourself or someone else is calling you. And, boy, I can't do it all, but I swear it feels like I'm trying to do it all the time.
All your life. You're
all
like,
my
all
li-
my
all
life.
my life.
Exactly. You've been doing a great job.
Thanks,
You
Shay.
definitely made your stamp in hip-hop, and where we are now, you've made that seamless transition in my eyes. Seamless transition from hip-hop into politics. And, how do you feel hip-hop, has influenced the community?
Well, first of all, when you say a seamless transition into hip-hop, I feel like, to politics, I feel like hip-hop has always been political. If we go back to Melly Mel, and shout out to the OG, with The Message and, and Run DMC, and, these guys were slipping, it was a rebel music. It was a rebel movement. So it was the movement that didn't have a voice. So we gave it a voice, the people, the youth, So I feel like it was always, it had that youthful political energy. Anytime that you're fighting against your oppressors, you always have a political type of voice with you, or a undertone that's political. And seamless, I don't know if it's seamless. Even a seamstress has a lot of thread left on that floor after they make the perfect set of pants.
Right.
That's
all a bar right there.
For real.
you spitting bars already, okay? Yeah.
Word. But it's just an honor to be able to be one of the first. Shout out to my man Shine Barrow. Y'all know him from Bad Boy History. I ran for councilman at large in 2018. I didn't win, but it wasn't a loss. But since I didn't win, I didn't become the first hip-hop platinum selling artist to be, an elected official in the world. But when we win on May 10th, 2022, we're going to claim it.
We are claiming it, yeah.
I will be the first in the United States of America to ever sell 1 million records and become an elected official.
May 10th. So make sure you go out there and vote for all my West Ward residents.
Yeah, West Ward, definitely. West
I need
Ward,
you to
man.
go out there and vote on May 10th, 2022. When it's come back, I'm going to post this. Like, are y'all going out there to vote?
That's right.
I need
Team
you to go out there and
Baraka.
vote. I got
Team
a lot
Baraka.
of, I got a lot of family members and
yeah?
friends.
I
Yeah.
need to see if they need lawn signs and posters in their window.
So
you know?
I have a line sister, right? I'm Zeta Phi Beta, and
Okay.
my line sister, I was just telling her like, hey, yeah, I'm just preparing for this interview, and she was like, hey, my brother, he's like a supporter of him, and he just gave me a sign put on my lawn.
Oh, that's what's up. What's your sister's name?
Raisa Mullings.
How you doing, Raisa? Thank you, Miss Mullins. I really appreciate that. Please, y'all, follow Miss Mullins' footsteps and put up these lawn
Absolutely.
signs.
Yeah. Shout out to Raisa.
I have a lot of family members who are Zetas too. So
Oh, yeah?
shout out to Robin and all of y'all.
1920.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
That's
right.
right. Yeah, so you spoke on 2018.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I know you, of all people, know how, strenuous campaigns could be. It takes a lot,
Yeah.
whether it's financially, mentally. It takes a lot out of you. So why did you run again?
So the reason why I ran again is because, and that's a great question, but the reason that I ran again is because my first time running, I've learned so much, and I delved into a lot of things that make up the power in our city. And I feel like that I got so close that if I turned around on my people, I feel like a sucker. If that makes sense to you. Like, I feel like I learned so much. You got to understand, running for politics takes, unless it's maybe something like local senator, it takes 4 years, 6 years, 8 years. So if everybody sees the hardships and sees the hard things and say, yeah, I'm not doing that, then that's 4 more years, 6 more years, 8 more years that our people are not at the table. You know what I mean? So I felt like I couldn't turn around on my people because I felt like I got so close. Even though we didn't win, I got so close. So now if I turn around, it's going to take another 4 years or another 8 years or another 6 years just to get close. So I couldn't turn around on the people, man. And also I've learned that I run a nonprofit organization called 211 Community Impact. And I feel like, we give out turkeys, we do everything from giving out books to the Newark Public School System to book bag supplies, school supplies, but that's like a Band-Aid. That's a Band-Aid, and community really goes here, but to really foster change, political power takes you here and makes fostering change sustainable, makes the change sustainable. So that's why I ran, man, so we can get at the table and to be able to help the ward that I grew up in, help the place to govern in the place that I grew.
That's beautiful. A lot of people, they grow up somewhere, and even if they rep it, they're somewhere else, They go and branch off, and there's nothing wrong with that, You want to, but it's so good to see that you've seen the world, and you still choose to come back and help your community and help your people. What was the key moment or a couple key moments that led up to you getting into politics?
You've done this once or twice before, huh?
Like,
got some great questions over here.
Thank you.
She got some great questions over here, Dre. She got some great questions. That's another great question because there's so many different moments that make up the whole, right? There's so many different moving parts. And one of the things is I'm 20 years old. I'll never forget this. I'm in Florida. We have a show. We're on tour. We're on Tupac's tour, actually. It was Lords of the Underground, Tupac. It was a young group that was opening up for us every night, asking a lot of questions, who became icons, and their name is Outkast.
Oh!
So shout out to Big Boy and Dre, man, because those are my guys. And you had the dance hall queen at the time, Patra, on the road with us. You had Janae, who was a new group, and they had a young guy by the name of Fam rapping on a song that was popular at the time. So you got Janae, Tupac Shakur, Outkast, Laws of the Underground, and Biggie was on the bus with, or sometimes with Pac, and it was just amazing. But when we were in Florida, we were staying at motels. So that's the outside rooms.
Right.
It wasn't hotels yet. We
It
were
was the
staying at
motels.
motels. And we were sharing vans. It just so happens that Lords of the Underground had about 6 people with us. And Pac had about 10 people with him. Or a little more. But we were sharing a van with Tupac. You know, we didn't know he was going to become the king, the legend, you know.
Right.
And Pac is was a very feisty dude, you know, always spoke his mind. And one of our members was late all of the time. And Pac had enough this day. So myself and the other members were on the van, and he just started, he got in the back. Pac got all the way in the back, and I'm sitting by the door. It's like a 16-passenger van, and he had his cats with him, Thug Life at the time. He wasn't with the Outlaws yet. He was with Thug Life. And he just started talking slick, you know, start talking in third person. People always late. This is my tour. I make this amount of money, and whoop, whoop, whoop. And people act like they come from this place and that. So I felt like he was dissing us. So I started talking in third person to my man, just the Newark in me, you know, to my
The
man.
bricks.
I'm like,
you know, we ain't about
so
that.
I looked at him. I'm like, yeah, people act like they from the West Coast when they really from the East Coast. And, you know, so we kind of third party banging.
Right.
And then we kind of looked at each other and we started kind of going at each other. But right before it got real tense, the member that was late got on the van. So I was like, oh, all right, now he can take over. You know, he can have this argument. The argument subsided. But later, just to fast forward, Pac comes in my hotel room after sound check. I look out the window. He has an arm full of things in his hand. So I called my DJ who was on the van with me, and I said, yo, Jazz, Pac at the door. And he witnessed the argument, so he was like, word? He's like, you want me to come up there? I'm like, nah, he by himself. I'm just letting you know, just in case. Mm-hmm. I open the door. I don't say anything. He looks at me. And he's like, you gonna let me in? I move out the way. It's 2 beds in the motel room at the time. He sits down. He has a Newport behind one ear. He has a blunt behind the other ear. And he has 2 40s in his hand. Now, this is, maybe I'm dating myself, but this is when you can still smoke in hotels. You know? And he cracks open a 40. He hands it to me. And he cracks open his. He takes a sip. It's crazy how I remember every detail. And he looks at me and says, you know you was wrong, right? I still don't say nothing. All this time I'm not saying anything. And then he said, that's why I rock with you, though. He didn't say rock. He said, that's why. But he said, that's why I rock with you. He said, because you took up for your team and you know it was wrong. And I was, because we were late. You know what I mean? And then just to fast forward again, he started talking like different. You know, we're 20 years old. I don't see a 20-year-old talking like how he was talking now. And maybe there's some out there, but he was saying, yo, we got to sell millions of more records so we can turn those millions of record buyers and fans into voters. And then we shouldn't move from where we from. He said, wherever we got it from, we shouldn't move from there. I was like, wow. You know, and he said, we got to start youth initiatives there and start nonprofits. He was talking all of this beautiful Black Panther stuff that I didn't realize what he was saying. And then he said, man, and then we might have to do something we don't want to do. And I'm like, what? It's like, we might have to run for political office. I'm like, man, we rappers. I ain't running for no political office. That's what I told him.
What? Yeah.
And, you know, he said, nah, man, Common got to do it in Chicago. He started naming all of the rappers that was hot at the time. He's like, Tretch got to do it in East Orange. You and Redman need to do it in Newark. And he just went on and on. And he said, that's the only way that we're going to effectively make change with the laws, with legislation. I don't even think I really understood what legislation was at the time. And I promise you, I've done everything that man asked me of when we were 20 years old, because I'm 6 months older than Pop to the day, and except win the office, and that's going to happen on May 10th, 2022. We're going to claim it.
We're claiming it.
Definitely.
We're speaking it, and it's going to happen. So how does it feel to be bringing all of these things into fruition?
It feels amazing. It feels, you know, we speak a lot of destiny and a lot of quotes and, you know, spirituality and destiny and this. But when you're living in your destiny and you're on that journey and you're on that pathway and on that road, you don't understand that what you're doing is is the pathway to your destiny. It's the journey. And hindsight and then reflection, you kind of look back and just be like, wow. So that's a wow moment for me. Like when I think about these type of things, it's just like it's destined. It's destined to do what I'm doing. There's no mistakes. I live with my setbacks too. I have no regrets, and I live with my setbacks. So we got to do what we have to do, and this is part of it. When you choose to, you are who you are and where you are because of you. I just really believe that. Not my mama was on crack. My father wasn't around. When you become of age, you have all, your mental stability about you. You have all your physical capabilities about you, and you get to say yay or nay of age without anybody giving you direction, like parental direction. Then you are who you are and where you are because of you. No excuses.
No excuses.
Yeah.
Excuses are the tools, right?
Tools of incompetence.
That's
definitely.
right. Yeah. Would you say that your notoriety, being a platinum record selling artist, do you think that it's been an advantage in your campaign or a disadvantage?
50-50.
50-50? How
Yeah.
so?
It's been an advantage with the young people, right? Great popularity. Oh yeah, rah rah. Everybody loves hip hop, but most of them don't vote. So what does it matter if somebody like you and they can't make a difference? That's ill too. Somebody that supports you, but they can't make a difference because they don't believe in voting or they don't think voting matters. And then you have elders, seniors, who not sure because their vote matters. And they want to make sure, and they don't care about that, all of that boomity, boomity, babbity, babbity, hip hop stuff. Their vote matters.
They're like, what will you do? What will you do to
What
help
will you
us?
do? How will you do it? What's your plan? Before I give my vote, I can't travel these streets like I used to. I might can't get, go out like I used to, but this vote is powerful. What are you going to do? So that's why I say 50-50. The people who love you, they can't help you. They can, but they got to believe that they can, and they believe that it matters, that voting does matter, especially at the local level.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at the local level. See, a lot of people
That's when
wait.
you have the most impact, I think,
Right,
at the
you're
local
right.
level.
Right. Do you have children?
I do. I have a daughter.
So if you have a child, anybody out there that has a child, I don't understand why people are not voting on the school board elections. And yes, if you have a child that's in school, why are you not voting on? That directly affects your child. That directly affects the parents of those children. So I ask that question all the time because people say, "Oh, voting doesn't matter." That's it. I mean, I get it when you're talking about federal voting. It's slower to trickle down to the people. It's slower to trickle down to the community when you're voting for presidents and all of that, because presidents, they go off of what the Senate says and Congress says, and congressmen and senators go off of what the governors of those states say, and the governors go off of what those municipal county and local elections. So that means that local elections is more important because it trickles up, not down, because it directly affects you. If you vote on if something is voted on at City Hall and you live in that community, it directly affects you. If something is voted on about property, rent control, about garbage pickups, about the quality of life with just speed bumps and crime and public safety, it directly affects you. It's not a federal law. It's not a state law. It's a city ordinance. It's city legislation. So if you say I'm not voting because it doesn't affect me, you're misinformed. You just do not understand or know.
You don't understand. What can the ones that do believe it do to encourage like our peers and our fellow parents to get out there and vote, because it actually does matter?
When they complain or do things that is reflected in a vote or casting a vote for someone or something, remind them, why are you throwing that on the ground? Or, oh yeah, you talking about school? Well, did you keep being annoying to them. You know,
Right.
oh, you talking about other side of the parking, street parking. You talking about tickets. Oh, remind them all this is affected by the vote, local vote. Local votes are way more important than for you in your area than federal elections.
Okay. For the ones who don't know about how it works, what would your responsibilities be when you're elected as councilman of West Ward?
Well, typically for a councilman, is my thing is to create, review, and vote on legislation, vote on laws, create laws, amend laws, and vote on what the mayor is trying to pass or not, or what the city is trying to pass or not. That is the thing that we do. We're legislators. But in a city like Newark, New Jersey,
Yeah.
if you don't show up at somebody's house and talk about this tree that needs to be cut down, or the speed bump that needs to be put there, or the garbage that the garbage pickup guy left a little paper down in front of their house, or the garbage can is way down the street, then they consider you not a great councilman, even though technically that is not your job. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, but you got to do it all.
You got to do it all.
Yeah, you got to do it.
You got to do it all. You got to
Yeah.
show up for the people.
Right, right. It's good to see. It's good to see the people see you present, see you at, events. Even though you're doing the work behind the scenes and people have no idea
Right.
what it takes, right? Even
Yeah.
even running a campaign, the countless hours that you're putting in, but
See
it's
these
good
bags
to still,
under these eyes right here? Sheesh.
Right. You ran in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
What's been the difference running now in 2021, 2022? How is it different?
Information has differed. People are scared. People are nervous. People want to know what is this virus? What is the COVID? Some people believe that it's nothing. Some people believe that it's death. And those who have lost family members, they definitely believe it. And those who don't, who haven't lost family members, they believe it's conspiracy or something else. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, so I can't speak on what it really is or what it really isn't, but I can speak on that there have been people that have died allegedly from the COVID-19. So if that is the truth, if people are being affected and they have died, then we have to give them the information to keep them safe. We have to take precautions to keep them safe, to keep our city safe, to keep the residents of the city safe, because you wouldn't want you find out something that is real or true and you haven't prepared to be safe from it.
You having understanding the language of the community, you being from Newark, you growing up here, you being in hip hop and just understanding, what do you think you have, what's the advantages you think you have over your opponents, the people that you're running against?
I think the advantages that I have over them is that I'm actually from the West Ward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm born in the West Ward. I went to school in the West Ward. I know those corridors like the back of my hand because I've traveled them from a young age to a mid-teenage years to as an adult. That is not the only thing that gives me an advantage. Knowing it's like war, right? So knowing the landscape of war, when you jump out of those planes in another person's territory at war, they've already been given the map. They've already know where certain things lie. But the only difference is that they haven't lived in those corridors.
Right.
They don't know where the caves and the hiding spots are. So it's detrimental to them. My opponents, since they're not from there, they don't know where the hiding spots. They don't know the root of the problems. They know it empirically. They know it through empirical theories. But I have receipts for being practical. I have receipts for being relative. I have receipts of actually being on the ground doing the work. When I knock on Miss Williams' door on 9th Avenue, I know that she has a rodent problem in the entire area. I'm not just coming from, being off in the distance and hearing about it, I know because I've witnessed it. I've seen it with my own eyes. And so I can speak better to the director of rodent control when I speak to them. No, we got to do it like this because I was there. It's not just the empirical judgment or, so see, people can have letters and, masters of this and doctors of this and PhD and all of these letters behind their name, but experience is the best teacher. I know we hear that and that sounds cliche, but it really is. When you have a practical approach to something, how can I tell that person what is and what is not just by theory? This is not things that I've learned and memorized it and then regurgitated it out to the public. This is I touched, I taste, I felt, I lived. That is what I have over my opponents.
I do.
And when you have that, it's hard to defend against that.
That's good. It's not something you could just read or just study.
And that's great.
Yeah, it is.
It's great.
It is. That's how a lot of people in their occupations, that's how they become good at what they do. But for you to not only, look at it from that perspective, like, of course you have to study, because you didn't know everything,
Right.
but you've lived it.
Yeah, living it is the best studying you can do.
I'm excited for you because May 10th, you're the
May 10th.
one,
May 10th, man.
So when you are elected as councilman of Westward, what's next?
My plan is the Westward Revitalization Plan, and not just brick and mortar. We need development. The last thing that was developed there was probably, other than ones and twos, meaning homes, building homes. And, shout out to all of the real estate developers out there who are building one homes and two homes and three homes. But I'm talking about putting some real development there, and not just brick and mortar, like I said, but revitalizing the mindset of the people. Because I can build a 20-story building, put a great park over here, put a great center over here, but if we don't revitalize the mindset of the people and create programming, those same people that messed up this area over here is going to mess up this new area over here. So it's about revitalizing the mindset, changing the mindset, doing some financial literacy, creating some programs for our youth, just adding on to what our seniors indulge in and their recreation and making it a little different and improving it and add on to the great things that the mayor is already doing, because he's doing some great things to move our city forward. But like I tell everybody, if we don't help the Westward move forward, then the city of Newark can't move forward as a whole. So in order for Newark to continue moving forward with a lot of the great things that Mayor Baraka has been doing, we have to get the Westward right. In order to get the Westward right, we got to get the mindset of the people who are living in the Westward right.
I ask everyone to drop a jewel. I'm Jalen Jewel. So I ask you to just give words of encouragement or advice to all your supporters, all your fans from over the years, all the people who are planning to vote for you. Drop a jewel for them.
Sometimes when you're doing things for yourself, self-preservation is very important. But understand, even while you're preserving yourself, it's still bigger than you.
So this is Jalen Jewel.
That's right.
With episode 4 with Dupré Kelly. He is the future councilman of Westward, Newark, New Jersey. Don't forget to vote on May 10th, 2022.
What up, y'all? It's your boy DoItAll, Dupré Kelly from that legendary hip-hop group Lords of the Underground, and the next Westward councilman of Newark, New Jersey. You know what you're watching. If you don't know what you're watching that jewel effect, man. Huh? It's the jewel, man. Come get some jewels. It's jewelry, baby. I'm gonna hang it around my neck.